you are an art student. You will be writing literature in this 2025 UTME, and you are yet to join my channel. Come closer. Why haven't you subscribed to my channel? I have started dropping videos. I know that it can be cumbersome for you when you want to prepare for the examination, especially in literature, for those that will be writing literature in English. That is why I am here. So I will hold you by the hand and take you through your literature in English CBT practice questions that will not only help you, but will give you the confidence and will give you the marks that will boost your overall score, that will make you to get that admission this year. Remember that literature in English syllabus ends this year. If you do not seize this opportunity, try to do well in literature examination this year, syllabus changes, and that means that you're going to be reading a whole number of books and poems. So now is the best time to join my channel so that you would not be left out. So let's get right into the video for today. This question is based on caged bird. Which lines from the poem show that the caged bird has never been free? A. But the caged bird stands on a grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. B. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. C. The caged bird sings with a fearful trail of things unknown but longed for still. D. His tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings for freedom. So, which of these lines show that the caged bird had never been free? And our answer is B. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. So his wings has been clipped from onset, and his feet had been tied. So they had never experienced this thing called freedom, because since inception their wing had been clipped and their feet had been tied. So the best answer is B. My heart is a quiet drum. Sometimes it flares like a parched thunder cracking through the damask sky. It lifts me in its fired spectacle. The imagery in the excerpt above is largely A. Olfactory and visual. B. Auditory and visual. C. Tactile and auditory. D. Olfactory and tactile. If you're conversant with my channel, you must have come across a question like this, where I analyze the types of imagery that we have in literature. And so we have the visual, that is of course vision, that has to do with the eyes, sight. We have the auditory, audio. When you hear auditory, just know audio, and audio has to do with sound, and that is your what? Ears. Yeah. So we have the visual, the auditory, we have the olfactory. Olfactory has to do with your sense of smell. Then we have the tactile. Tactile has to do with your sense of when you're reading a poem and the words in the poem, you know, maybe they are describing jollof rice or whatever, and it seems as if no, you are savoring it already and you're enjoying it already. They have appealed to your sense of taste. Okay, so poets, they know the choice of words to use that will appeal to these senses. Okay, when they use particular word, it seems as though you can hear it yourself, then that means that it is what? Auditory. When they use some certain words, it seems as if you are there with them and you can actually see. You can, so from where you are, you can visualize what they're actually talking about. Of course, that is what? Sight. So we have we have the visual, we have the auditory, we have the olfactory, we have the tactile, that's touch. Okay, we have the tactile, touch, and then we have the gustatory. Gustatory is sense of taste. Okay, sense of taste. Tactile, touch; gustatory, taste; visual, sight; olfactory, smell; and auditory, hearing. Okay, so now let's go back to this question. My heart is a quiet drum. From this, you can start visualizing. Yeah, you can start. What is it appealing to? These words, what is it appealing to? Your sense of what? Sometimes it flares like a parched thunder. Now imagine thunder. How will you know that it's thunder? Cracking through the damask sky. It lifts me in its fired spectacle. Now, without any stress, you should know that this poet had appealed to your sense of what? Sight, and your sense of hearing. Okay, and your sense of hearing. We have drum. Okay, we have thunder. Thunder comes with sound. You know how thunder sounds, yeah? So thunder comes with sound, and of course, thunder crackling through the damask sky. Damask, you already know the color, and then looking at it, you can visualize it. So it appeals to your sense of sight and auditory. So it's visual and auditory. This question is based on second-class citizen. Francis was afraid that his marriage to Ada would not last if he allowed Ada take the new job and earn more than him. What counsel does his father give in this regard? He should split Ada's remuneration into two and take a part for himself. He shouldn't allow her to work. He should go to her workplace on payday and collect the money. Ada should be allowed to work as the husband owns whatever his wife has. And of course, if you recall, second-class citizen, if you are yet to read it and you would like to go through, the summary and the character, it's on my channel. You can just go through the videos I dropped, so far on my channel. Okay, so if you recall this part, it's where Francis was getting scared that Ada would earn more than him and disrespect will come in. Okay, and then the father says, why not? Let her work. She's bringing the money. She's bringing the money home, and then the money belongs to you. You understand? And that was when he decided to allow Ada to work. And of course, Ada was practically working for them because she was working, and she was using the money to send Francis to school for Francis to further his education in the UK, and then he's also using the money to take care of Francis's family, take care of families, Francis' sisters, Francis' parents, our own children, Francis as himself. You understand? So our answer is D. Travelogue is a work of art written on a journey by an unpopular novelist before the death of the author, by a famous playwright, and our answer is on a journey. From its name, you already know, okay, so experiences that has been gathered on the journey, the author would decide to share it with us. Read the excerpt and answer this question. Perhaps one day you may want to come back. I shall wait for that day. I want to stand in your tears and splash about in it and sing. I want to be here when you grovel. And of course, you know that this is from second-class citizen. Even though I did not put it there, you know that this is an excerpt taken from second-class citizen. So the above excerpts foreshadows when Elena apologizes to Alison for being an unfaithful friend. Otena leaves for China. Alison returns to Jimmy after she lost her pregnancy. None of the above. If you recall this particular scene, you remember that prior to this scene, we had already been informed that Alison is pregnant. Alison had already informed Cliff of her pregnancy. Okay, now because of Alison nonchalancy, because of her not willing to put herself in Jimmy's shoes, Jimmy gets very, very angry. Okay, or he gets very angry at Alison's unfeeling nature, and he got so mad at her at this point, at this scene, and he wished that she would lose someone, feels the same pain that he felt when he lost his own father. So he wished here that Alison would lose a child. Okay, he was specific that Alison, that I wish that you have a child and you lose it, so that at least you have human feeling. You will come and then you would, I can swim in your tears and blah blah blah. You understand? So the right answer is Alison returns to Jimmy after she lost her pregnancy. But prior to the time that Jimmy was saying all of this, he never knew. Okay, so it's a foreshadow. He never knew that Alison was already pregnant. This excerpt is directed to Helena, Cliff, Otena, Alison, and of course, it is Alison. How did Baruka use Sadiko's character defect to get what he wants? Of course, you already know that this is from The Lion and the Jewel. He shares his intention to rape Sidi. He asks her to woo Sidi on his behalf. He tells her to chase the railway workers out of the village. He falsely reveals his impotence to her. And of course, I'm sure that by now every one of you must have read Lion and Jewel. And the right answer is he falsely reveals his impotence to her. He knew that he would not be able to get Sidi. And then he feels, because he's a fox, because he's cunning, he devised a means of getting, because of course Sidi had already allowed her beauty to enter into her head, and she's already very, very disrespectful. Not just herself, she has already started instigating the other village people to disrespect Bale. And of course, he feels that the best thing to do is to devise a means to get her by all costs. And of course, it is through him lying that he is impotent, knowing fully well that the best person to tell is his wife, his first wife, Sadiko, because Sadiko has this flaw: she cannot keep quiet. She has a very, very loose mouth. So he pretends and then tells Sadiko, sadly, that, oh, there's no point. And this is after he had asked Sadiko to go and woo Sidi on his behalf. And CD rejected him. And so he said, so there's no point. I'm even glad that she's not even coming she's not even accepting the proposal, because I'm already sterile. And he went on and on, like, how would I, blah, 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 that my father was still active even till his old age, this one. And Sadiko believed it, hook, line, and sinker. And instead of him to just, keep it to herself and just, respect her husband and all, she went to tell CD. And CD decided to go to Baroka and honor the invitation to dinner, which she had at first rejected. And Sidi carried her two left legs, goes to the palace, goes there to mock Baruka. But of course, Baruka, being a cunning fox, decides to what? Take Sidi for himself by taking away her virginity. That's pride. And of course, she doesn't have any choice than to get married to Baruka. So our answer is D. In Good Morrow, how does the poet and his lover spend their childhood before loving each other? Spend their lives in denial, spend their lives studying for a degree, spend their life in love with someone else, spend their lives in careless pursuits and childish pleasure. And of course, if you remember Good Morrow by John Donne, some will say John Donne, whatever, just know the poem and know what the poem is talking about. That's my own. So the first stanza talks about, oh, I wonder about my church, what thou and I did till we loved, were we not win till then, but sucked on country's pleasures childishly, or snorted we in the seven sleepers then. Okay, now it says that then, before loving each other, how does the poet and his they were enjoying life like children, they were not taking anything seriously. So the right answer is spent their life in careless pursuit and childish pleasure. This question is based on Wuthering Heights. Who does Hindley force to work as a servant in his home? Joseph, Edgar Linton, Heathcliff's son. Remember in Wuthering Heights, remember that Heathcliff is the sole reason why Hindley was sent out of the house to a boarding school by the father, Mr. Henshaw. Okay? Because Hindley was always not in good terms with Heathcliff. And Heathcliff, knowing that he has a soft spot with the father, Mr. Henshaw, he goes to report to Mr. Henshaw. And Mr. Henshaw decides that, see, the best thing for me to do so that these people will not end up killing themselves is to just send my own son to the hostel. Okay? He had to let Hindley leave the house, to a boarding house, hostel, just for peace to reign. Now, Hindley is so mad at Mr. Henshaw, that's his father, and most especially Heathcliff, because Heathcliff is a nobody. He was picked up on the streets of Liverpool and brought home. So Hindley did not expect that his own father would give preferential treatment to someone that he picked up from the street that he doesn't even know from Adam over him. And so when Mr. Henshaw died and Hindley returned with his wife, he decided to give Heathcliff his own words, his own revenge. He decided to pay Heathcliff for everything that he had gone through, for everything he made him go through. And he had to make sure that Heathcliff turned to a servant. He wasn't allowed in the house. He was with Joseph and was treated like a servant in the house. So our answer is Heathcliff. This question is based on Gravelands. The tone of the poem is anger, assuring, pessimistic, cheerful. And of course, the tone is what? Anger. This question is based on Wuthering Heights. What is the name of the village near Wuthering Heights? Loch Creek, Gimerton, Pove, Itaton. And our answer is Gimerton. How long does a government driver serve according to the poem A Government Driver on His Retirement? 35 years, 34 years, 32 years, 33 years. And our answer is 35 good years. That poem. This question is based on The Lion and Jewel. The playwright of the play The Lion and Jewel hails from Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Mali. And our answer is Nigeria. Don't go and choose Mali. A metrical pause occurring in the middle of a line of a poem is called assonance rhythm, caesura, tetrameter, and our answer is caesura. Okay. The exclusive right given to authors to protect their works from unlawful production is dash. A copyright, an authority to write, a constitutional provision, an author's right. And our answer is copyright. So if you are an author, you have written a book and you don't want piracy, you don't want them to go and to go and make copies of it and start selling it and start making money from it, you're going to have a copyright on that book. So much that if there is anybody that is using it and getting money for himself, you can charge that person to court and the person will pay through his or her nose. No stress. Okay. This question is based on wuthering height. Who forces Heathcliff to work in the field after Mr. Henshaw dies? We have talked about this. And so, of course, let me know what you pick now before I review the answer. Joseph, Mrs. Henshaw, Kitty Henshaw, Hindley. So, what do you think the answer is going to be? Who do you think made him to work as a servant? Very good, of course, Hindley. Okay. This question is based on second-class citizen. Which of these themes is not evident in the novel Second-Class Citizen? So we have marriage, poverty, military coup, racial discrimination. So there is theme of marriage because everything is centered around, almost everything though, is centered around Ada's marriage to Francis. We have poverty. Yes, there was theme of poverty between them. Okay, even Babalola and Mr. Noble. Okay, so then military coup. There wasn't any as far as the novel is concerned. Racial discrimination, of course. How that Ada started looking for a house in London and they didn't get because there is always this inscription, no colored, no colored, no colored. And eventually they had to put up with Mr. Noble. Osborne's unhappy marriage to actress Pamela gave look back in anger to be considered as a or an fictional biography, autobiography, memoir, and of course, because Osborne went through something of sorts that happened between Jimmy and Alison, it was easy for him to create that picture in his play, and of course if an author talks about his own life, talking about what? Autobiography. Okay. And if you find this video, you find this lesson to the end of do well to today's like lesson. Video. I'm going to be dropping a couple of comments, more lessons, so 3 more lessons before subscribe, most especially before you start your exam. So be on the lookout all the very when I drop new videos, so you'll be the first to watch examination. So until I come your way again, next lesson, go and start revising. Bye.